Welcome to another edition of Breaking News brought to you by Source Selection Soundbites. Today we will discuss the United Marine International LLC case, or United, decided at the GAO. The Army Corps of Engineers, or Corps, had a need for a debris collection vessel with trailer and shore conveyor to be used on Fishtrap Lake in Kentucky. It published a solicitation that combined the authority of FAR 12 and FAR 13.5 using simplified acquisition procedures. The best value methodology utilized was LPTA. The agency received 4 quotations, including United. The agency determined that the low-price vendor did not meet the specifications, but the next vendor, D&D, did meet them. D&D's price was $311,500, and United, the next lowest vendor, had a price of $438,098, but its quotation was unacceptable. D&D had listed in its quotation a number of optional items or upgrades that were available, such as air conditioning and heating for the cab of the vessel, and a stainless steel configuration. The Corps considered these options and decided to add a number of features that had not been required by the specifications. The contract specialist met with D&D to discuss the addition of optional features, and D&D was permitted to submit a revised quotation adding certain of the features, as a result of which D&D's quote was increased to $376,224. The Corps determined to purchase the equipment from D&D on the basis of its low price and issued a purchase order to D&D. The Corps received D&D's signed acceptance of the purchase order and made an award. Shortly thereafter, a protest followed from United. United protests that the Corps violated a number of provisions in Part 15 of the FAR by holding what it characterizes as discussions only with D&D and permitting that firm to submit a revised quotation. The Corps' position is that this procurement was not conducted as a competitive negotiated procurement under Part 15 of the FAR, but as a simplified acquisition under the procedures set forth in Part 13 of the FAR. The Corps also states that the solicitation contains the provisions reflecting a commercial purchase, along with simplified procedures. Lastly, they argued, the solicitation was published on a standard form 1449. En route to finding against the protester, the GAO stated, where, as here, simplified acquisition procedures are used, contracting agencies are to use innovative approaches to the maximum extent practicable in order to award contracts in the manner that is most suitable, efficient, and economical in the circumstances of each acquisition. Moreover, it stated its office reviews allegations of improper agency actions in conducting simplified acquisitions to ensure that the procurements are conducted consistent with the concern for fair and equitable competition that is inherent in any federal procurement. In light of the fact that the procurement was conducted under simplified acquisition procedures, the agency's election to include certain optional items and accept a revised quotation from the low-priced, acceptable vendor, which quotation remained low after the revisions, was consistent with the simplified procedure's purpose of allowing flexibility and innovative approaches. While the protester argues now that it could have offered lower prices or could have offered the same options if the Corps had held discussions with United, the fact remains that United submitted a quotation that was qualified by terms viewed as unacceptable, and the Corps was not here required to engage in discussions with United for the purpose of making its offer acceptable or otherwise improving its terms. Now let's address a few of the lessons learned from this claim. They include 1. Simplified acquisitions encourage innovative procedures. 2. Allegations of impropriety when using simplified acquisition procedures are reviewed to ensure the competition was fair and equitable. And 3. The procedures of FAR 15 are not required when using simplified acquisition procedures. In this episode of Source Selection Soundbites, we discuss the United case and the flexibility available in simplified acquisition procedures. This concludes today's episode of Source Selection Soundbites. If this video was helpful, hit the like and subscribe button to ensure you don't miss any new material. If you want more details on the subject, they are available on the Source Selection Answer app. It contains lectures, quizzes, court cases, sample documents, and more material that allows practitioners to quickly obtain actionable knowledge. Thanks for watching. See you next time.